It was the wardrobe malfunction heard around the world. Justin Timberlake was in the beginnings of his career as a solo artist. Janet Jackson has been music royalty all of her life and had a successful solo artist journey herself, which was almost 20 years long at the time of this performance. Timberlake's career continued its ascent to where it is today. Janet's, on the other hand, became the scourge of American parents. As her breast was accidentally exposed, the NFL was caught, literally, with their pants down. The new American pastime had to answer for the crime of exposing the youth to entertainment not suited for the entire family. The edgy product decided to purposely sanitize the Super Bowl halftime show. The halftime show at the biggest sports platform of the year began with marching bands. For the most part, the first 9 halftime shows featured marching bands from Grand Lake State, Michigan, and Texas, among others. That is, until Up With People performed at Super Bowl X. Then, there was a slow integration of other types of acts, along with marching bands and Up With People. They were interspersed with other acts until Super Bowl XXV. That is when the NFL dipped their toe and had New Kids on the Block perform. The next year, it was Gloria Estefan, which built to Super Bowl XXVII, and Michael Jackson. Around that time, the NFL felt it needed to capture a different crowd, and they figured the halftime show would be the place to reel in those who were casual fans and those who could care less about football in general. Pop, rock, R&B, hip-hop, and country artists, past and present, took center stage during the halftime break. The presentation seemed to get more energetic and youthful until Super Bowl XXXVIII happened. After Super Bowl XXXVIII's halftime performance, it seemed like the NFL wanted to give established rock acts a huge platform to avoid any controversy and backlash. Paul McCartney, Rolling Stones, Prince, Tom Petty the Heartbreakers, Bruce Springsteen the E Street Band, and The Who were the acts, in order, who performed from Super Bowls 39 to 44 at halftime. The NFL decided to slowly dip their toes back into the pop music market again with the Black Eyed Peas for Super Bowl 45. The next year, they decided to get the best of both worlds, as it was Madonna and a cascading set of special guests who were newer to the music scene. Then, it was Beyoncé's turn. People said her performance was so breathtaking, the lights in the Superdome blew a fuse in the third quarter of that game. Bruno Mars was the following year, and he wowed the crowd. After Katy Perry, and supposed new artist according to Twitter, Missy Elliott, Coldplay the very next year performed at halftime. However, Beyoncé and Bruno Mars were so impressive with the NFL, they decided to bring them back to perform along with Coldplay. After Lady Gaga took the halftime stage, there was a growing sentiment that artists were boycotting the Super Bowl halftime show due to the Colin Kaepernick situation. That was how Justin Timberlake got the chance to perform at the Super Bowl again. The boycott was still in effect as Maroon 5 from a host of Atlanta musical artists shared the stage in the following Super Bowl. Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, then The Weeknd have been, to date, the most recent 2 performances during the halftime of the Super Bowl. But around this time, a new figure came upon the scene, Jay-Z. His presence helped usher performers to show up to the Super Bowl halftime stage again. After all, the Super Bowl is now routinely the single biggest television event, regardless of genre, in the United States for the entire year. Almost all eyes are on any performer who decides to go there. This year, since the Super Bowl is in Los Angeles, or Inglewood specifically, the Super Bowl halftime show has 2 distinct flavors to it. With Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar being Los Angeles natives, they, along with Eminem from Detroit and Mary J. Blige from Yonkers in New York, represent the area's musical flavor. All 5 acts are rooted in hip-hop. Hip-hop hasn't had a prominent presence in the Super Bowl halftime show since Super Bowl XXXVIII. But with these acts performing Sunday, the question must be asked: why now and why hip-hop? One of the answers to that question is the player representation in the league. 70% of all players are black. Most of them listen to hip-hop as the top music choice. No other art form today sells as much as hip-hop does. If the NFL is about nothing else, they diligently follow the money. Along with that, the NFL has had, let's just say, a checkered relationship with the black culture. Many fans have decided to boycott the NFL at large due to the Colin Kaepernick fallout and the dismissive attitude by the ownership group of the league. 4 years after his stance, it took the George Floyd situation in Minneapolis for the league to release a formal mea culpa. The NFL wanted to demonstrate that they heard the black community now. We saw messages painted at the end zone borders to each stadium saying it takes all of us and end racism. They even encouraged all 32 teams to join hands in unity and kneeling to begin the 2020 season, with some stadiums heartily booing them. They even ordered every Week 1 game of the same season to have Lift Every Voice and Sing played before the national anthem. In short, the Shield wants to so desperately be on the right side of history, but they just don't know how to get there. So what does all this have to do with Sunday's halftime show? This really wasn't in the plans 20 years ago, nor even 10 years ago. However, in having a renewed social justice movement reenacted in the world in the past couple of years, the change button has been pressed in a fast-forward capacity. The acts which performed on the stage after the Janet Jackson-Justin Timberlake debacle were safe and appealed not to the children, but the older generation of football fan. Even Prince, who at one time was a boundary-pushing artist, had a PG presentation to him with, at the time, 28 years under his belt. What makes the NFL hip-hop pairing unique and interesting is this. The NFL product tries its best to be clean-cut, but is edgy just by the violent nature of the sport alone. Hip-hop is an edgy art form, but it appeals to the fan base they so covet, along with the players who make the NFL $16 billion on an annual basis. The NFL is hoping they can finally bridge the gap between themselves and the black community by wholeheartedly embracing the things they love. They want to show that their presence matters, even if it comes under the umbrella of a lawsuit filed by a black head coach challenging the hiring practices of the Shield. As we bounce to this on Sunday, we have to remember the tune to which the NFL truly dances.